Hi, I'm Matt Roy with Blue Ocean Benefits and Consulting. Today we're going to talk about group insurance plans with employees who are over the age of 65. It's a kind of a big topic as our workforce ages. It's becoming more and more common, but employees that are 65 or older actually may be entitled to Medicare. If they are entitled to Medicare and they're on your group plan, or you're on, if I'm talking to you as the employee and you're on a group plan, there are some things you should know. Now, this is a very detailed subject. We could make probably a 30-minute video on this, but that would suffice to say that Medicare generally wants to be secondary. And I always think of it this way. You know, Medicare doesn't want to pay your claims. They want your employer to pay your claims. Or if you're the employer, they want you to pay the claims. So Medicare basically has a position where they'll say, if you have a group plan, we're going to be secondary. Secondary means group plan pays first, then Medicare. So a lot of times there's no reason to have Medicare. If the group plan is going to pay first, it really doesn't make any sense to have a Medicare coverage as well. Now, when I say Medicare, I'm really referring to Part B. Medicare Part A is hospital, and that's no cost to employees. And even though it would be secondary, since it's no cost, people will usually pick up Part A, the hospital part, pretty easily. But Part B is the part that comes out of people's Social Security check, or they have to pay every quarter to the government. For Part B, it covers doctor visits, MRIs, things like that. There are circumstances when you need that, and there are circumstances with a group plan where you don't need that. So let's just walk through that. So generally speaking, as I said, Medicare wants to be secondary. It means that if you're on a group plan or your employees are on a group plan and you know, they're on your plan, Medicare doesn't want to pay. So they say, we're second, we're not going to pay that. So if you pay extra for Part B, you're sort of paying for your medical plan and Part B. Your medical plan will pay first, your Part B will pay after that. There are exceptions to that. If you have fewer than 20 employees, Medicare is primary, which means your employee has to pick up, or you as the employee have to pick up Part A and Part B, and then your group plan will pay over that. So that's an added expense. Now, in the old days, that was fine. How this happened was Congress said Medicare is going to be secondary, but we're going to make a small business exception because it'll cost small businesses more. So we're going to have Medicare be primary for small businesses. And in the old days, carriers would actually give you a discount. We called it a carve-out rate, where the carriers would give you a discount for people over 65, sort of to offset that. So it worked out pretty well. You'd pay the Part B instead of the group plan, and it worked out fine. Since the ACA came out in the early 2010s, the 11 or 12, that is no longer the case. So you're going to pay the same premium if you have 15 people for a 65-year-old than if you have 25 people many times. That means it's a disadvantage now to a group under 20. Our lobbying group has, NAHU has asked them to address that in Congress, but so far we haven't seen a lot of luck on that. So you are disadvantaged if you work for a small company or you are a small company, in that you must pick up Part A and B before the carrier will then pay their share, because Medicare is primary. So we have a problem with this a lot of times, and here's the problem we have. We have employees who are 64, they're on the group plan. They go to Medicare, they talk to one of their friends, and their friend says, oh, Medicare is secondary, you don't need to pick up Medicare. They get A because A is free, Part A, hospital. They don't pick up Part B because they say, oh, I don't need it, I have my group plan. Then they have a claim 6 months later, and the group plan says, where's Part B's payment? And the employee says, I don't have Part B. And the group plan says, well, we're going to pay what Part B didn't pay, but since Part B didn't pay, we can't pay. We don't know what to pay. Sometimes they won't pay at all. Sometimes they'll end up figuring it out, but very difficult, very upsetting. Plus, if you've gone over the time, year or two, you might have a penalty going back and signing up for Part B. So this video is not about, you know, all the details of the penalty and how many months you have and all that stuff. That's like I said, you could do hours of videos on that, and it's really sort of expertise on that kind of stuff. But suffice to say, if you are under 20 and you don't sign up for Part B when you turn 65, your group plan may not pay the claim. Now, there's exceptions to everything. If you're with an association that's over 20, that might Medicare might be secondary there and you wouldn't need Part A. So Part B. So it really is something that you need to look at the exact circumstances of what you're doing. But the number one reason for this video is to tell you that if you're turning 65, you need to ask us or your broker, do I need Part B on my plan? You need to not take anyone else's word for it in terms of a friend or even Medicare. You need to ask the right people. Ask your employer if they seem unsure. Ask if you can ask the broker. But find out if you need to pick up Part B or not. So if you had 80 employees on your plan, you don't have to pick up Part B. So I hope that's helpful. Again, I always say, if I said something, if you're a professional and you disagree with me or you think I'm wrong about what I said, please mention it in the comments and we could clarify or agree, disagree, whatever. If you like the video, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm Matt Royer with Blue Ocean Benefits and Consulting.